I'm Kirk Moose. This is Toby Downs with another episode of Reclaim Your Life. Today we're going to be talking about, our title is, This Ain't No Pie Contest. Toby, do you want to explain to everybody what
Yeah,
that is? And before you do that, guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Because if you don't, you won't get a notification the next time that we release one.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a humorous title, and I do intend to explain it, and but it is going to lead to a more serious conversation. I'm a big fan of the Rocky movies. The boxer, the underdog that made his way, went the distance with the champ, and then became heavyweight champion of the world. But there was a scene in one of the movies, and he had to go outside and take care of some business with an opponent. And there were some fellas at the local bar that said, "Hey, Rock, do you want us to come and help you?" And he said, "No, guys, this ain't no pie eating contest." So that's the title. And what does that mean? So these were well-intentioned friends who had a purpose to help him in a difficult situation, didn't have the physical ability. And we've talked many times about why we're even doing this project and why we take the time to share the information we share, Kirk. And really, I take that kind of humorous scene from that movie to talk about something much more serious, and that is when choices we make in our lives, and we all do, delay or postpone or even keep us from fulfilling the full call that God has on our life. So what do you think about that, Kirk?
I think that many times we all can fall into that category. And the reason I say that is you and I both have been through this several times where we've set a goal and then we've fallen back into the old swing of things. Then we've set our goal, we've made our numbers, then we fell back into the old swing of things. And what happens is we end up in such a lifestyle where we're not fulfilling where we need to be. Um, and even sometimes with work and ministry, or even just our job, we need to make sure that we are set up for success. But if we make certain choices in our life, then we can prevent ourselves from being the best at what we're doing. Now, we're like you said, we're mainly talking about fitness, health, and if we're really wanting to live a healthy life, and guys, this is like Toby and I've talked about this offline many times. For me, this was all about me trying to get healthy so that I could be the best dad I can be. I want to make sure that I live a long life for my family. And anytime we don't take care of ourselves, we're not really considering those we love. And we really need to make sure that we are doing the best we can so that those that love us will have us for as long as possible.
Mhm.
And also so that we're not a burden to them. Because think about it, many times when we allow ourselves to get overweight and obese or whatever else, fill in the blank, Toby and I have shared with you that we both were way overweight at one point. When we allow ourselves to get to those points, we can become a health risk to our family and a burden to the family unit. And we want to make sure that we're not a problem for those that we love. And when we allow ourselves to go outside of those margins and not be intentional with the way we live, we can hinder where we need to be. We can keep ourselves from moving into that promotion at work. We can prevent ourselves from moving into ministry, or we can prevent ourselves from moving into fill in the blank because of
Yeah.
certain choices that we make. Um, I mean, we've talked about several goals, Toby, you and I, that
Mhm.
we've had. But if we didn't keep our lifestyle choices in between these lines, we
Yeah.
could never fulfill those.
That's true, Kurt. And I want to say out loud, because as you mentioned, we both have had zigs and zags, but God is gracious.
That's right.
And He is the God of second and third and fourth chances. So this is as funny as the title is, and I'm just a movie nut. It's a point that there are a time and a place when it is time to step into that calling. And I think the worst tragedy, or one of the worst tragedies, is the inability to do so. And then God passes that task or that mantle onto someone else. And you're right, it does start at home. Our families and those things are the most important, but it also can relate to the business world or the ministry world. I know of a missionary that I have visited on the mission field, and it is a very difficult, tough terrain. And he and his wife did not take that mission until their 60s. And they are, I still follow them on social media, out there shoveling, snow plowing snow and taking children to church and doing things well up into their 70s at this age. And I just think that is such a good example for us all. In the business world, we may not want to admit it, but a lot of times how we are perceived is how we are promoted in that world. And that may not be right and it may not be fair. But God has called us to bring the wealth of the wicked into the storehouses of God to do his purpose. So it really is about, reclaiming your life and, being not only obedient, not being only willing, but being able. So you want to wrap this up, Kirk? I know this is something we could talk about a lot. We don't intend to be judgmental. We just want people to be empowered and know where our heart is.
Oh, completely right. I mean, definitely don't want people to feel like we're being judgmental because we've both been there. We've both made the choices to where we've fallen back into the other way of living. And we want to make sure that you guys are empowered to do the work that God's called you to do, whether it's in the business place, in ministry, in your own family, because we know some people are called just to minister to their families and be the best at anything that you're assigned to by the Father. You need to make sure that you have all the tools you need to get that job done. And we know that you can do it. Let's talk about how this channel is to encourage you. We know you can do it. You've got it in you. You can go that extra mile. You can take that extra step and you can fulfill the goals that you've set for yourself and that God's calling you to. Well, guys, we thank you for joining us today. Hit that subscribe button if you want to get more of these channels, more of these shows alerted to you when we release them. And also hit that bell icon so that every time we release them, that Google will notify you every time one is released. Guys, you have a wonderful day. God bless.